Hello?
Yes, Professor Gretchen there?
Well, I'm not a professor, yet, that is, but I am named Gretchen, and I do
Okay, do you
indeed
teach my son?
Well, that depends. Who is this?
His mother, obviously. Geez, no wonder you're not a professor. I mean,
Well, teaching associates aren't professors, but we still do all of forget it. What was your son's full name?
Maury Bund. I'm calling to see whether he's been coming to class. I mean, I'm gonna kill him if he's not, you know? I keep saying you dig in your own grave by not applying yourself in college, huh?
Okay, well, Maury is indeed in my class.
Uh-huh.
What seems to be the problem again?
I've been calling him for 4 days and he's not answering. And he's been like a ghost ever since he left for college. So, you know, I'm just trying to get as much information as I can from his instructors. With, you know, that's you.
Okay, one moment, Mrs. Bund.
Uh-huh.
Mrs. Bond?
Yeah, hello?
Yes, are you worried that Maury's safety is in jeopardy, or are you concerned about his health?
No, not necessarily. I'm just worried about his withering academic performance. You know, I mean, I said he's been distant ever since he's left for college, and like, you know, I'm worried that if he doesn't have my lively supervision, his dreams of success are slowly gonna decay and maybe die. All right, you know, look, if you could just give me his overall grade, his attendance rates, his emotional disposition in class, if he has any projects outstanding, and where he sits specifically, I would be eternally grateful.
Okay, I see. Well, to be frank with you, Mrs. Bund, I'm not sure I can give you that information.
Okay, yeah, you know, I share your concerns, dearie, but the fact is that I pay for his education. It came out of my body, and I'm entitled to a simple update.
Oh, okay. Maury is...
Right, yeah.
What I think...
Gretch, meeting now!
Oh, I
okay.
Unfortunately have another meeting that I must get to immediately, and I am so sorry I cannot help you right now.
Yeah, well, okay, can you just give me his overall grade before
Gretch,
I go?
now! Gotta
Coming.
go!
I'm sorry, Mrs. Bund, I really must go.
Okay, I'm gonna call back later this afternoon, though.
Okay, but you don't have to actually
right.
do that. Good day, Mrs. Bund.
What the deuce was that all about?
Some mom who hasn't cut the umbilical cord yet.
Oh, I avoid those like the plague.
Yeah, well, this one sounds persistent. She said she's gonna call back this afternoon.
Ooh, who was she asking about?
Oh, this one kid, Maury Bund. He's a good kid overall. He's just adjusting to the newfound freedoms of college. He's got a C in the class right now for missing some basic assignments, but I mean, for the most part, he shows up and tries when he's not on death's door from partying the night before.
Well, I guess, I guess if she calls back, tell her that, you really can't give her the information. Tell her that he's doing fine, and then ask her not to call back.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe if I give her what she wants, she won't turn into a nuisance.
What would you do? It's a tough one.
FERPA, the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act, governs access to and release of student education records information. We want to make sure that you receive at least some very fundamental exposure to FERPA as it applies to your role as an instructor and/or an advisor. Most of you likely paid little, if any, attention to FERPA as an undergraduate student yourself, even though it provides you specific rights regarding your own education record. That's true even as a graduate student. Now you are in a totally different role, with access to important student education records information. We want you to be respectful data stewards, not just because of legal requirements, but because it's the right thing to do. A primary concept of FERPA is to treat the student in college as an adult, and therefore the owner of his or her education record. We are the data stewards of that record. So, as much as possible and appropriate, we tend to defer decisions regarding access to and release of that information to third parties, including parents, as the student's decision. There are many other exceptions to that concept. One of the primary exceptions is for you to have access to the information you need in order to do your job. This is referred to as the legitimate educational interest, and may also apply to other faculty and staff at the institution. Another exception is for access by the parents of a financially dependent student. But it would not be your responsibility to discern whether a parent fits this exception and should receive the requested information. More often than not, the request would be initially processed through my office or the college office of the student. Access to student information doesn't mean you have an unlimited right of access to student data, and it certainly doesn't mean that you should routinely make any student data public or routinely release it to a third party. For example, someone without that legitimate educational reason. Today we don't have time to cover FERPA in many details, so an additional document, FERPA Nuts and Bolts for New Instructional Staff, is provided to you with this presentation. Note the list of Ohio State's directory information items. These data elements vary somewhat from institution to institution. They are considered public information, but only for those students with a yes release. Also note several common FERPA-related issues that may come up in your role as an instructor. Now let's quickly reflect on the scenario you watched. First of all, the TA did a great job. Was there an emergency situation? Apparently not, but there is a health and safety emergency exception under FERPA. The TA could provide anything that was directory information. The TA could also provide information if the student had signed a waiver, whether in paper or online format, and you had access to that information. Students can find FERPA information, including about waivers, on Buckeye Link. As noted above, the TA could provide information to mom if the student is a dependent based on the IRS definition, but we would typically refer the parent to work through the student's academic advisor. We don't want you to feel that you should be providing this information or feel uncomfortable interpreting FERPA. This is best referred to others, for example, my office or the student's college office, even if you eventually end up as part of that conversation. No one assumes that you are FERPA experts, so if you have a question, please don't hesitate to ask. Contact information for my office is included with your materials. If you have other questions about services provided by my office, for example, web-based grade posting, web-based advising support, and degree audit reports, please contact my office. Thank you.